they finally get back together. It was a little bit saved with the comedy of Mindy wheezing because she had to take the stairs at the top and then just lying on the ground. Look, it was nice to see them get together, but it's been so tampered with all this lousy that Danny has done. I hope we see Danny worshiping her for a little bit in the next season instead of it being Mindy swooning.
She deserves someone better.
Welcome back to another episode of The Rank. I'm John, and today we're going to be ranking the next episode of the Mindy Project. For those of you who are new to the show, I'm just going to give you an agenda real quick. We start with the potent notables, which are just a couple interesting facts or tidbits that we found out about the episode or series. Then I do the episode overview, which is just me talking about what happened in the episode. And then I do the namesake of the show, The Rank, where I rank the episode in 5 categories on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the best, 5 being the worst. And today, we're going to be ranking the 22nd and final episode of the second season of the Mindy Project, titled Danny and Mindy. Written by Mindy Kaling and directed by Michael Spiller. Now, the show's been out for a while, so there will be spoilers. If you want to watch it without spoilers, please do so. It's available on Hulu to stream. Before we dive into the potent notables here to start off the show, I just want to say, if you're enjoying these episodes, please subscribe and or follow, like, comment, do all that stuff.
Potent notables.
Mindy calls Katie Holmes an old bag in this episode, but in real life, Mindy Kaling is 6 months older than Katie. So, okay, well, it's the end of the season of the Mindy Project, so let's see how it did in awards season. It got nothing. The only thing it had was that Mindy presented the award for Outstanding Reality Competition Program with John Mulaney. That's it. All right, those are the potent notables. Let's go to the episode overview. We get another voiceover that's just a voiceover to open the episode. Always a bummer for me when they don't do the bit. But hey, we know the title of the episode is Danny and Mindy, so we've got good times ahead, right? Well, eventually, I suppose, but man, was there a lot of weird strife before we got there. So Mindy decided to rip from the scripts of When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle, and You Got Mail, which I'm not bashing because it was fun. This is probably the most romantic comedy episode of all the romantic comedy episodes of this show. We start with Mindy eye-banging a guy on the subway, and I was really confused because didn't we establish Charlie as a love interest for her last episode? As it turns out, that was still a thing, but she just didn't care. I get it though. That was new, they probably weren't official, and she's a hopeless romantic at heart. But things get crazier when this guy apparently puts an ad in the paper looking for a missed connection with Mindy. Danny is super against her emailing this guy and makes her promise not to, but she does anyway, because of course. This starts a montage of loving email connections, all sort of behind Charlie's back, which is pretty mean, Mindy. I know he doesn't end up caring all that much, but geez. I know the show is like, the audience doesn't care about Charlie. They want to see Mindy and Danny together. And I mean, they're not wrong, but still. The romance between the random guy on the subway named Andy and Mindy continues to progress until the point that Andy suggests they meet. Meanwhile, Morgan, in his concern for Mindy, writes an email to Andy basically saying that if he hurts her, he'll kill him. But he hears the notification go off in Danny's office. Then he sends another email, and it happens again. And now Morgan knows. Danny's catfishing Mindy as Andy. So he has to spill to Morgan that he's in love with Mindy and that they dated in secret and he wants her back. So Morgan makes him admit it to Tamara also because Danny essentially ruined their relationship, but that's when we find out that Tamara and Morgan have been hooking up. Now, I can't be the only one out there that was really excited that they're together again. I sort of wish the show had taken more time with them actually, but oh well. Either way, Tamara gives Danny the idea to utilize the Empire State Building as a meeting spot for fake Andy / real Danny and Mindy. However, Mindy ends up in Danny's apartment that night and tells him that she knew that he didn't really want her based on him saying that a guy doesn't break up with a girl that he secretly wants to be with. This is a pretty excellent point, but the nail in the coffin is that she then says that she's over him and that he was right that they're not right for each other. Now this prompts Danny to do something inexcusable in my book. He fucking stands her up at the Empire State Building. Look, I've been getting more and more annoyed with Danny throughout this whole process, but man, this felt like a bridge too far. Like, what a fucking prick. You're really gonna stand her up? And it was freezing rain, apparently? I loved that Morgan and Tamara were super pissed at him afterward. But Dan, fine. You don't want to admit that you catfished her after all that she said, but go there anyway just to be there so that she doesn't have to wait there alone like a fool. Danny's got a new plan now, though. He's going to sneak back into a relationship with her by being there to comfort her on the loss of this fake guy. And you know what? It's working. Right up until she sees the guy she thinks is Andy on the subway and attacks him. And now Danny has to admit that he catfished her. What he also says, though, is that he's in love with her, which, you know, is kind of shocking. But more shocking was that Mindy's like, I don't believe you. She's making him work for it, which is good, but it still felt like it was all up to him. Like, hey, I like you, so you must decide to be with me or not, right now. He requests a second chance that he's gonna go to the Empire State Building and wait all night for her. Mindy, to her credit in my opinion, still isn't gonna go. For some reason, all of her co-workers tell her she needs to go. Now let's look at this from everyone but Peter's perspective. They've seen him catfish Mindy and then stand her up at the Empire State Building. Okay, now let's look at Peter's perspective. He has seen Danny refuse to go public with his relationship to the point that Peter actually said to Danny, "You make me sick." He saw the aftermath of Danny breaking up with Mindy for no reason other than that he was insecure, then watched him try to rebound from Mindy with Peter's sister. Why are they helping him? And then, cherry on top here, when they convince her to go, they see Danny having a slice of pizza, clearly not at the Empire State Building. So much for his wait all night rhetoric. He waited for an hour and she no-showed, so he left. I'll be honest, all that annoying bullshit kind of took away from the moment that they finally get back together. It was a little bit saved with the comedy of Mindy wheezing because she had to take the stairs at the top and then just lying on the ground. Look, it was nice to see them get together, but it's been so tampered with all this lousy shit that Danny has done. I hope we see Danny worshiping her for a little bit in the next season instead of it being Mindy swooning.
She deserves someone better.
But lost in all this commentary is just how funny this episode was because it was freaking hilarious. But let's see how all this translates in the rank.
A rank.
So the rank is where I rank the episode based on 5 categories: story, acting, dialogue, episode coherence, and character relatability. I rank it on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best, all to find out what's the best sitcom of all time. And now for every episode, I have a laugh counter where I tally up the amount of times the episode made me laugh out loud. 1 point per laugh out loud gets added to the score. And before I dive into the rankings, I just want to say, if you're enjoying this episode, please leave a like down below. That thumbs up does really help us out. But without further ado, the first category is story, which I gave a 5. I mean, it's a fun play on Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail. I like that it was Danny and Mindy getting together. I like that Mindy made him work for it. I didn't like that she left Charlie in the wind for a random internet guy, but you know, whatever. Them getting together, hopefully for real this time, is worth a 5. So let's go to acting, which I gave a 5 also. I thought everyone was great in it. Not much more to say. The key was that Mindy and Chris Messina handled this well, and they hit all the marks they were supposed to. So let's go to dialogue, which I gave a 4.75. So it was hilarious, but interestingly, it was really slow in parts. Maybe it was because I knew where it was headed and I just wanted it to get there. I don't know, it just felt like at times, okay, let's progress this a little bit. Still, that's just a quibble. It was pretty great overall. So let's go to episode coherence, which I gave a 4.5. I think the biggest glaring thing was that it's hard to catfish someone with a person they've seen before. Are we being led to believe that she sent her picture but never requested one in return? I mean, she apparently sent her panties to the guy, which also super weird. I mean, funny, just weird. All right, so let's go to character relatability, which I gave a 2.25. This was very fun and romantic and all, but Danny really pulls too many mistakes here. Like, he stands her up at the Empire State Building after catfishing her, then almost does it again. Additionally, Mindy's unwillingness to meet him there is actually pretty relatable, but her co-workers forcing her to go was bananas. Look, I'm glad her and Danny are together from a fan of this show kind of way, but if these were people I was friends with, I'd say you all need to stay away from each other. All right, so for the most part, some pretty high rankings. Obviously, the last one wasn't very good, but a decent laugh counter will keep it up in the top 3 tiers, and it wasn't just decent. This episode was freaking hilarious. It got me 25 times, and that puts the grand total up to 46.5 for this episode of the Mindy Project, which puts it in the meaning of life. Strong close to the season. And as for the series average, it goes to 36.3, giving it a pretty decent jump further into the Holy Grail. So thanks for listening and or watching. If you'd like to see a list of our episode and series rankings, you can do that on our website at therrankedpodcast.com. Remember to subscribe, review, and comment. And please consider supporting us on our Patreon site at patreon.com/therrankedpodcast, where you can get access to all of our archived episodes. Also, if you enjoyed the episode, please leave a like down below. It really does help us out. But I will leave you with this. Doesn't it kind of feel like we thought Mindy was going to get Tom Hanks, but she ended up getting Chet?
Who is that? Should we know who that?
If you're enjoying these episodes, please like, follow, subscribe, all that jazz, comment.
Froze up again.